Hi everyone! I just needed to take a few minutes to shout something from the rooftops because I'm so excited and so proud. Usborne Publishing last night was not only awarded Independent Children's Publisher of the Year by the Independent Publishing Guild, Usborne Publishing was also crowned Independent Publisher of the Year. We are so incredibly proud of them and just so honored. As many of you know, we represent Usborne Books here in the United States. Usborne is a huge global publisher, known very well around the world, very well respected. In fact, the IPG, Independent Publishers Guild, said that all publishers could learn something from Usborne. They really truly are special and quite magical. So I wanted to share a little bit with you about just what we're doing at our company in the United States. We are Usborne Books and More, and we not only have the amazing Usborne books, and we are responsible for getting these books into families' homes and into schools and libraries. They really are the best. If you have not experienced them, please reach out to me, reach out to your local consultant, someone, and discover them because every child deserves them. From infant to teenagers, we truly have the best, most enriching and interesting and engaging books published today for these kids. And with the literacy crisis going on, we've got to inundate these kids, not only our kids, but all kids in our community in doing that. So what we're doing is so important, especially knowing the books that we represent and what we're responsible for. So I thought I'd share a few books with you guys. Great for those of you who are not very familiar, but also these 5 books that I'm going to share are what we are calling this month Founders Favorites. And they are 5 books that are favorites with our founder of Usborne Books and More. And in celebration of our 25th anniversary this year at Usborne Books and More, we are so focused on growing as a company. We need thousands of people to join us as independent consultants, consultants and team leaders, and just helping us to get these books into kids' hands and into families' homes and onto school shelves. So as a bonus in March, when someone would like to join us and they get their business starter kit, in addition to everything that they get with that, you're going to get these 5 Founders Favorites, which is, let me do some quick math, 25, 35. It's like almost $70 in books for free, and they're exceptional. Okay, so first, That's Not My Dolly. Usborne Publishing, the first 2 books I'm going to show you, are very well known for these 2 aspects. Number 1, the top-selling touchy-feely board book series out there today, and that is our That's Not My series. There are, I don't know, maybe 30 different titles in this series from, let me grab a few for you. That's Not My Monkey. One of the newest, That's Not My Pig. We have Hamster, Prince, Truck, everything you can think of. But it's the little mouse talking, and he's looking for his dolly. That's Not My Dolly. Her dress is too spotted, and some great textile experience there for little hands. The color contrast, they're going to be engaged in this book as early as 3-4 months old. I love the rounded corners, so they can be handling them at a young age of 6 months old, and they're not going to hurt themselves if they poke themselves, which they do with every object at that age. And then each page shares a good descriptive word to go with what the child is feeling. And as adults, go ahead and try to resist the touchy-feely parts of this book. You won't be able to. That's Not My Dolly. Her hair is too frizzy. What a great way to introduce little ones to some wonderful new descriptive vocabulary. And then in the end, the little mouse always celebrates because he finds what he's looking for. That's My Dolly. Her bows are so silky. Love it. Usborne is very well known for that series. Usborne is also the leader in children's nonfiction, and schools in our country are really focused on bringing more interesting informational books into kids' lives, and Usborne is the best. No other publisher compares to our nonfiction books. This is an excellent book. I was just looking through it. I am not very knowledgeable of history, but I need to sit down and read this book because, wow, this is going to give such great fundamental information about the First World War. Between illustrations and photographs in our nonfiction books, it's just exceptional. And just an FYI, this year is the 100th anniversary of the First World War, so kids are going to be hearing a lot about that, and what an important part of our history to really educate our children and ourselves if you're like me. And in the back there, it says Usborne Quick Links. You can go online and get some great websites that are safe, accurate information that pertain to information about the book. So in this case, the First World War. Love it. Okay. What a wonderful picture book this is. One Night at the Zoo, and this is actually a Kane Miller book. Kane Miller picture books, there are such treasures inside, and you really need to get in and discover them. What child doesn't love the zoo and animals? And this is, not only does it have beautiful, dreamy, warm illustrations, but it has great rhyming as well. And then every page it's also counting. So here it talks about a crocodile and a kangaroo set off on a bicycle made for two. And each page they're going to read about, here 4 bears cooked a squid and squidgeberry stew. So these animals are doing silly things at the zoo at night when nobody is there. It's really going to spark some great creativity and imagination in kids. All little ones are going to love this book because it's about zoos and animals. And they're also going to learn something with the counting elements and the rhyming and just the beautiful dreamy illustrations. Next, How Big is a Million? If you want to give children perspective and just a visual on just numbers, there's no greater book. So in this book, Pipkin the Penguin, I skipped to halfway. Pipkin the Penguin is always asking big questions. Here he wonders how big a million is. And he goes on a journey to discover that. Through the story, the reader will get a visual on what 10 is and what 100 is. There's 100 penguins there. And what 1,000 is. There's 1,000 snowflakes there. It talks about the friend that he makes and the fun that they have. And in the end, he tells his mama everything that he did find, including all those things, even a brand new friend, but he couldn't find a million however hard he tried. His mama comforted him and gave him a warm hug and said, "Come outside, I've got something to show you. Here's your million, my little Pip. You can make a wish on every single one." And there's a little sign, "This way to see Pipkin's million." And in the back, you open up this envelope and there's a giant poster with 1 million stars. And there's literally a million stars. Such a sweet story, but what a great way to give kids a great math visual on those different number series. Okay, finally. This book is very special to our family, and it is very well known in the world of Usborne books, and that is the complete book of Farmyard Tales. Talk about a treasure. You definitely want this in your home if you have little ones. It does come with a storytelling CD with all 20 stories on it, and it is a collection of 20 stories about Poppy and Sam. They live on Apple Tree Farm with Rusty the dog, Curly the pig, Wooly the sheep. Mrs. Boot is the farmer, which we love that she leads the farm and is a woman. And every story starts out the same. This is Apple Tree Farm. This is Mrs. Boot the farmer. She has 2 children called Poppy and Sam and a dog called Rusty. And then it continues with that story. There are 20 different stories. Some really fun elements here. 1, there's a little yellow duck hiding on every page. I can never get where the camera is. See that? Your children will find those ducks quicker than you. that's great for if children have a hard time sitting still for a story. It gives them something to do so you can get through the text and read the story to them. It also has dual level text. So shorter, simple text at the top and more detailed text at the bottom. You can read the top and the story makes sense. Then you can add in the bottom when they are able to sit that long for a story. Or for new readers, they can read the top and you can read the bottom. There are so many great things about this book. My own little personal story about it, my daughter Sasha, who is now about to turn 12, she was, I want to say probably 2.5 when she sat down with this book. She loved it. It was her absolute favorite book. And she sat there for, it was probably at least an hour, and turned every single page and said, "This is Apple Tree Farm. This is Mrs. Boot the farmer. She has 2 children called Puppy and Sam and a dog called Rusty." Turn to the page. "This is Apple Tree Farm. This is Mrs. Boot the farmer. She has 2 children called Puppy and Sam and a dog called Rusty." She memorized that, and she just read the book that way and literally turned 1 page at a time, said that, and continued for an hour. It was so sweet. She still has such fond memories of this book. It's so wonderful. So just as an extra thank you for joining us at Usborne Books and More, we wanted to give you something extra so you can be enriched even more in your own home and your own home library, and just open the door of possibility to all the things that you can do with this business. So thanks for considering, or just thanks for sharing this information with people. We need consultants nationwide. So if you need any more information, please reach out to me, or if you know another consultant, reach out to them. We'd love to help you. Congratulations, Usborne Publishing. It is an honor to get to represent your books here in the United States. Have a great weekend.